gaming is still going, so we're still going. There's still some things to talk about. Still a lot of things going on in the industry.
Hmm.
It never truly stops.
No,
It never truly stops.
never does.
But before we get into all that, how you doing, X?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Yeah, man. I'm chilling, relaxing. I'm off for the next 4 or 5 days. Yeah, it's just time to chill.
Lucky, lucky you.
It's my Saturday to work coming up, so it's fine. But
Still, lucky you.
mm,
I'll be right back in the saddle Monday, like nothing ever happened.
I go back Wednesday.
Mm.
Other than that, everything's fine, man. How about you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Starting to get back into independent code projects. So
Yeah,
stretching out the fingers, making magic happen.
nice.
Nothing, nothing out of the ordinary.
Get back to home.
Get back to home.
That's right.
When I started this whole thing, I was like, yeah, I'm a work for a nice company,
Mm-hmm.
mostly code for profit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's always the goal. And then on the side, maybe I'll make a Pong grip off. Who knows? Maybe I'll make the next the next Galaga Space Invaders. You never know. So
We'll see.
back in
Hopefully.
there, we'll see. We'll see. The hardest part is always getting started, right?
All right.
So you can say you got all these lofty plans of what you want to do, but then, like I said, life gets in the way. Things don't always go as planned.
You gotta execute them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Put in
you
motion.
gotta adapt as you go.
Yeah, you gotta change your ways because I know we play the games and stuff throughout the day. We gotta make changes to for the life and do what we need to do. You,
Yep.
singular. Just us or whatever. So it's good that you're taking out the time to get that done and get what you need to next step in your career or just for kicks and
Just
giggles.
personal enjoyment.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it.
So let's jump into this. This is already planned on being a longer one, but at the same time, there's been a lot that's been going on, and I kind of want to take things. I don't want to say I want to take them slowly, but at the
Hmm.
same time, there's a lot to go through. I mean, we're talking like five, maybe six different topics that we're going to cover this particular time.
All right.
So first off, I want to tackle something that happened a couple of weeks ago
Hmm.
at this point, and it's still a big deal, right? It's
Hmm.
still something that needs to be talked about, and I
Right.
feel as though it's not being talked about enough, and that's going to be Sony losing $10 billion in market value
Mm.
purely based
With a
on
B.
the with a B, billion with a B, okay?
With a
And
B.
and this is huge, right? Because if you are a PlayStation gamer, this might affect how the system is going to be running things going forward. So this
Yeah,
is important for you.
it's definitely important. Like that's concerning that you're losing $10 billion and just like that. That's
Just like
could
just like
be
that.
towards whatever games or whatever systems or whatever next system to be created. That 10 billion could have been helpful.
Right.
but but
So so with this
mm.
one, we got the article from GameSpot,
Mm-hmm.
and Sony stocks dropped significantly after cutting its forecasted
25.
PS5 sales numbers but analysts
Yeah.
say its margins are potentially more of an issue. So the long and short of it is when Hiroki Totoki had the financial earnings call last month at this point,
Mm-hmm.
he stated that they're going to be they've already missed some of their margins for console sales.
Mm-hmm.
Console sales are pretty much dwindling at this point,
Right.
which any analyst could have told you that was going to happen. The console market is really stale and stagnant. It's not growing anymore.
No.
Um,
No.
there's about 200 million households with consoles, and consoles themselves are not bringing new people into the fold. So
Mm-mm.
it's stagnated for a while. There's never going to be a console that reaches the numbers of the PS2, right? So
No.
with that said, Hiroki Totoki said we're going to cut back on our forecast from 25 million PS5 units sold to 21 million units sold. And we covered that last time.
Hmm.
But as a direct result of that announcement, they lost $10 billion in market value.
Investors didn't like that.
Investors didn't like
They
that at
did
all.
not like that at all. Hmm.
So then, what does that lead to? Well, that leads to less overhead for the company because there's
Hmm.
less people investing in it, right? There's less overhead that the company has access to.
Right.
What does that then lead to? Layoffs. And we're
There
going
you
to
go.
cover those in a moment.
There you go.
But this is one of the painful, I guess you could say,
Damn L word.
yeah, the damn L word. We're still in 2023 if we're looking at just layoffs
Right.
because it's still going.
It's still going, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end.
No, no. Microsoft had to lay off, what was it, 1,900
Yeah,
employees, which
1900. Hmm.
that sucks. Good grief. But
Hmm.
like I said, we'll get to that in a moment.
Right.
So, $10 billion lost on Sony's end. That's $10 billion in raw value,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
This was so big that CNBC had to cover it.
I
CNBC
see.
has no
Yeah.
interest in video games at all.
Mm-mm.
They had to cover this.
It's more
And
that's more the stocks end. So they like the stocks and
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
They like
Hmm.
the stock stuff, yes. And
Hmm.
this was too big to not be able to cover.
Right.
Sony's operating margin in gaming business was just 6% last quarter compared to 9% in the corresponding quarter of 2022. One equity analyst, Atul Goyal, told CNBC that they would expect the margins to be higher than single digits due to various tailwinds, making the number especially disappointing.
Hmm.
Goya also cited Sony's record breaking revenue in digital sales, add on content, and downloads as other reasons why the margin should be higher.
Hmm.
Another analyst, Sirkin Toto, said that he expected Sony to have a better operating margins by this point in the PS5's life cycle. So they're not doing good as far as operating margins are going.
No.
And from 9% to 6% is bad.
I
That's
mean,
really bad.
you gotta have games, man. You have to have games for your stuff. That's one. Two, they said 25 million, then they only knocked it down to 21 million. Not many people bought the PS5 that they was hoping for. And then you also got to realize that, you know, I think if you previous had a system, you're probably going to be upgrading to that next system. You might get a couple of brand new people who probably never owned a game console ever, or stuck in the PS2 or stuck with the Xbox Doge, and then they're like, all right, let me finally go ahead and upgrade, 10, 15 years later, but most of these upgrades is people who probably already had the last system. So, the 360, and then they went to the Xbox One, and then they had it, and like, all right, we'll upgrade to the series, and then, okay, I had a PS3 and a PS4. All right, let me go ahead and upgrade to the PS5. I don't think you're going to get a lot of brand new people who are just new to
No,
gaming, or just, new to a gaming community. You might get a million of those kind of people, 500,000. I don't know. I'm just throwing a random number, but I think all these people who have these consoles, or people who had previous consoles, and they just upgrade pretty much. It's like having a phone. You have the Galaxy S22, and then now the S24 come out. You're like, all right, I guess I could upgrade now to the newer
right.
model or whatever. Now, I mean, you can
No,
switch brands, if you're an iPhone user or whatever, and then go to the next. But it's like you had the previous
right.
model, and you just upgrade to the new one. So I think it's kind of the same. But yeah, just like you said, it's stagnant. It's not the way anymore. It's probably the premium way. You want to have the your console and your game and the best, play on console, but then of course you can play it on PC. Then of course you
Mhm.
can play it on the Rogue Ally. And of course you could play it on the Rogue Ally or Steam Deck. Stream it and stuff like that. Um, excuse me. Then cloud is just it's coming, man. I mean,
It
it's
is.
here.
It is. It's coming fast too.
It's here, but it's coming. It's coming quicker. They're going to update to make it better, of course. It's not going to stay like what it is now. Because cloud back then wasn't as fully good. And then now it's gotten better 5, 6 years later. And can you imagine the next 5 or 6 years later from now? It's going to be even better. They're not going to get rid of it. It's going to keep building off of it. There's so many ways to play video games now compared to when we started playing.
Man, I mean, if you wanted to play Sonic, you had to have a Sega
You
Genesis or
exactly.
maybe a Game Gear. No.
Exactly.
Um,
There's multiple ways now, so people should actually be more happier that there's multiple avenues of playing video games now and enjoying what you love. Separate reality, separate from this crap on the internet and Twitter. Get
mhm.
into the dang on game. Stop bringing the reality into the game. This is why people are gaming, to get out of that reality world or whatever the case may be, what's going on in their life. Happy, sad, or just want some entertainment. We go play the video game or watch movies or whatever. Don't bring that crap into here. But
and there's a lot that went into all that, but the thing that I kind of want to highlight right now
mm-hmm.
is primarily the console sales, and like you said, like consoles are not bringing in more gamers.
Yeah.
This is this is a major thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple of things that I think went into this. One, a lot of the console sales, the high points,
Mm-hmm.
happened because of COVID. They
Oh
happened
yeah.
because of the pandemic. People were sitting inside. They
Sitting
couldn't do
home.
anything. They couldn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is that was an extreme situation. That was not the norm. And
Right.
then when you take away when you take away the extreme situation, let's remember consoles are expensive.
Yes.
They've been expensive since the 360 and PS3 days.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Back when Sony said, "We'll be honored if you worked overtime to afford
Overtime
our
to
system."
afford our system. Huh?
Huh? What?
Nah,
And then
bro.
on top of you having to buy a console, you then gotta get a monthly service plan so that you can play online while you already have your own internet bill to cover as well.
Right.
And this goes across all the consoles. This isn't specific to one or two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's consoles are an investment. They are an absolute investment, and the primary reason there's two primary reasons in my opinion as to why people get consoles is because A, it's the best way to play the latest games. B, they're stuck in the ecosystem based on where their friends are and where their
Mm-hmm.
library already is.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Like right now, my content library is so Xbox centric right now that I can't get a PlayStation and expect to play all the games
Mm-hmm.
because none of that stuff carries over, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
None of my friends are on PlayStation. Not every game is crossplay still, which makes no sense.
No.
Um, looking at you, Dragon Ball Fighters. Come
Oh.
on. um, but when it comes to the PS5 versus the PS4 or the Series X versus the Xbox One,
mm-hmm.
if the Rocky launch wasn't bad enough, it launched during a pandemic, and then also it launched without any really good reasons to upgrade, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you launch a console and you say, "Oh, don't worry, all your previous gen games are still going to be backwards compatible, and we're going to make sure that we still launch games that are compatible with previous gen games to accommodate for the people that can't upgrade just yet," then why
Right.
am I upgrading to the next console?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Now, granted, it was the right thing to do at that time. At that time, it was like I said, it was the pandemic. People were at home collecting stimulus checks. They weren't really working like that. A lot of people were laid off. They were on unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the right move to make sure, yeah, we're going to support our previous gen consoles longer than we typically would have.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the windfall of that decision.
Right.
You know, now you're in a situation where if people choose to upgrade, either A, they're upgrading at a lower price,
Mm-hmm.
or B, upgrading years later into the cycle. I mean, hell, I just got my Series X like
Yeah.
what, 2 months
Last.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Very. Yeah.
now,
Dang. That's
granted,
crazy.
I'm also mostly a PC player, but
Oh
still,
yeah.
you know,
About 95% PC player.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But even as
Same.
it stands now, if we do want to talk about the performance upgrades, yeah, it's absolutely the performance upgrade. I can't play Sea of Thieves on my Xbox One. Runs like crap. It's
Oh
like 30
yeah.
frames per
Yeah.
second.
Ugh. Don't
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
out loud. Mm-mm. Don't say that out
Um,
loud.
but this is one of those things that this will affect things going forward from a PlayStation gamer perspective because this also means that because they don't have as much overhead, they're going to see layoffs. If they see layoffs, there are going to be projects that are going to be canceled. There are projects that are going to be delayed.
Mm-hmm.
Morale at studios could be down. I've already seen reports of Fire Sprite Studios is like their morale is
Mm.
abysmal right
Yeah. And that's the
And
thing that you got to realize when you have a bunch of people, employees, you have to make sure they're happy. Like you don't play, was it City Skylines and Sim City or Sims? Where the morale you gotta make sure they're happy and blah 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 blah, and they got green heads on top of them. You got to make sure they're not yellow and red. You got to make sure your employees are happy. Happy employees will do better jobs. You know,
mhm,
if I'm coming to work happy or fairly decent, I have all the utilities and the resources that this company is providing me, and then I'm gonna enjoy my place of employment and I'm gonna do a better job for whatever I'm doing. But if I'm coming into work like I already sitting in the parking lot for 10 minutes, like I don't wanna go in here. That's a bad sign.
yeah, it's a real bad
That's a
sign.
bad sign.
Now, something else I wanted to touch on in relation to this story, and I'm actually happy that we waited this long to cover this story,
Hmm.
because I noticed something when I was searching around to pull up an article to kind of like give context for this story.
Okay.
What I noticed was that IGN didn't cover this.
Mm. Well, of
IGN,
course.
one of the bigger gaming news outlets,
Hmm.
did not cover this story. This is a huge story, and IGN refused to cover it. I don't know why. I'm not going to pretend that I do know why,
We probably know why.
but they didn't. I mean, we can give our speculation.
We
Um,
could do speculations, but that speculation is, it's probably right. But no.
so so with this one,
Hmm.
let's just let's just take it all in.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just take it all in.
I see everybody
So
else, even a non-gaming website, talking
yeah,
about it.
Game reported on it. GameSpot reported on it. Tech Radar reported on it. CNBC reported on it.
Hmm.
I don't know what this site is. XCOM 2 game. What? I don't know what that is.
Mm.
Um, there's no IGN here.
Mm.
Not a single like. And you know the rule of Google search. If
Right.
Google or Bing search, if you're not on the first page, you're not being
You're not
seen.
being
If you're
seen,
not
yeah.
being seen, then you don't exist, right? And there's no reason
And
why IGN wouldn't
wouldn't be on the
exist.
first page. One of the bigger game news. And not she should not have to go third,
Shouldn't have to
fourth,
go dig.
fifth page for IGN as huge as they are, or whatever. No.
Now, let this have been Microsoft losing that much money
Oh yeah.
because of console sales.
Mm-hmm.
IGN would have reported on it and they would have tweeted about it 7 times in one day.
In one day, in 1 hour.
So
Oh, Microsoft lost 10 billion in sales. Here's why.
yeah.
15 minutes later, Microsoft lost 10 billion in sales. Here's why. Like,
So
yeah.
so for the folks at home, make no mistakes. The gaming media do have their biases. Okay.
Of course.
That bias might lean towards Nintendo. It might lean towards Microsoft. It might lean towards Sony. It might even lean towards just PC gaming in general. Although don't trust PC gamer because they're also leaning PlayStation despite the name.
No
So
good.
make sure you know where the biases of your outlets are, where they lie. And I'll come clean right now. Make no mistake. We are two Xbox centric gamers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
We have Xboxes. We love our Xboxes. We
Mm-hmm.
mostly game on PC, but most of our content library, as well as our friends list and ecosystem, is mostly
Mm-hmm.
invested in the Xbox platform.
Yep.
When you come to us and you get Xbox news, understand we are as you would say Xbox friendly or
Mm-hmm.
pro Xbox.
Right.
All right.
Now, if
So
they screw up, they screw up. You know what I mean?
they screw up, and we're gonna call them
We're
out.
gonna call them out still, but we're not gonna be losing our minds off of
No,
what they're doing or what they're saying. I mean, this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing, and hopefully it works out for them, or whatever. And hopefully, whatever Sony is planning on doing, hopefully it works out for them also. But this is not a good start. This $10 billion
no, it's not.
loss is not a good start. I mean, I own a PlayStation also. It's sitting right here, but you gotta give me something.
Right.
You gotta give me something.
So I say this because there's a few things that we need to keep in mind and keep in perspective.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One thing in particular is you're not always going to get the full story,
No.
and we can't promise that we're going to give you the full story. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the main reasons that this podcast exists is because we saw how negative certain
Oh
platforms
yeah.
were being treated, and how other platforms were able to get away with just
We'll
about
forget away with
anything, and no
murder.
one
Yeah.
called them out.
Mm-hmm. Nah.
So
If
this
you
podcast
are
exists to address that kind of nonsense.
exactly, if you are fucking up, we're gonna call you on your bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care if it's
It
Nvidia.
is what it is.
I don't care if it's AMD. I don't care if it's Xbox. I don't care if it's Nintendo, Sony, Sega, 505 Games, Ubisoft, Square Enix. I don't care who it is. If you're screwing up, you're screwing up. Embracer Studios group. I'm looking at you. Stop firing
Oh,
people, laying off people, or whatever. You know, you're buying all these companies, then you lay them off. But sorry, I had to say that. I'm sorry, they just pissed me off.
no, no, you're
But
good. You're good. It's important to be said because there's also another thing about this. The other thing is we're not going to go out of our way to bash people that don't need to be bashed.
no,
We're not going to go out of our way to
mm-mm,
fabricate stories or
no,
just tell you something because it might fit your agenda. I don't care if you're an Xbox fanboy. I'm
no,
not going to tell you something to please you. I don't care if you're an Xbox fanboy. I'm not going to say anything bad about PlayStation just to
mm-mm,
say something bad about PlayStation to appease you.
no,
That's not going to happen
no.
either. So try to
And
be as honest as possible. Try to get as much context as possible. Try to
that's
give you the
right.
story as it is.
And we're gamers. Like you can check our Steam. You can check our Xbox platform. You can check our profiles on there. We play video games. We have hundreds of hours in multiple different games and different genres because that's what we do. We play video games and RTS, fighting games, the shooting games. This is just what we play. We play different variety of games. So we're going to play games. We're not going to sit here and just talk about games and we don't play games. That's just ridiculous.
Right.
So
Right.
we are gamers, and we are heavily gamers that we play on different platforms. But what I was gonna say, but yeah, man, we're gonna call you out. We're gonna call you out hard. Stop screwing up. And so we wanted to call you out. But
So all things that need to be called out.
mhm,
We're still in layoff season, so we got to talk about that too.
layoff season
Um,
shouldn't even be a thing.
shouldn't even be a thing.
Mm-mm.
And the only reason why I say that is because this season still hasn't passed yet. I have no idea how long it's going to be before we get from a place where people are getting laid off left, right, and center. But here we are again. Um, so we had the Bungie layoffs late last year.
Mm-hmm.
We had other layoffs that affected other PlayStation studios. And here we are again with PlayStation cutting 900 jobs and canceling games. So let me get this one up because again, we're still in this nonsense.
900 jobs, bro.
900 jobs.
It's ridiculous.
I can't, like, it's happening so fast and so furious that I can't keep up with it all.
I don't care if it's 5 jobs. That's still ridiculous. It's just too much, man. 5, 900, 1900. Like, just stop. Just freaking
So
stop. And this is coming from the number one, supposedly the number one gaming,
the market leader,
the market leader. There you go of video
the market
games.
leader.
The market leader. You're getting rid of Insomniac, get people from Insomniac and Gorilla and Naughty Dog. These are your hitters. These are the people you send after the lackeys didn't do nothing. They couldn't stop John Wick. So you like, all right, you send out these people to go ahead and end it all or whatever. You send out these people to make these incredible games that so many people have said they have done, but you
Mhm.
lay them off.
And
Why?
let's not forget that as of this particular generation of PlayStation,
Mm-hmm.
Insomniac has carried this
Insomniac
generation of
carried
PlayStation.
the crap out of them.
They
Carried.
they are they are they are the biggest name in PlayStation Studios currently because Naughty Dog has been silent.
Look,
All generation Naughty Dog has been silent.
everybody else sat on the bench and won the championship because of Insomniac games. Like, you know what
Pretty
I
much.
mean? They carried them. Naughty Dog was like, second winner. They came close to winning Capcom Cup or whatever. Too, they're big hitters. You made your Last
Mhm.
of Us that sold millions and all this other great stuff. I mean, why? I don't see how you can be all the way up to the top, making all this money that you claim and system sellers, and then you be like, all right, get out.
lay them off.
Get him out of here.
So
Huh?
this one comes from GameSpot again, and I
Mm-hmm.
I like taking articles about PlayStation from GameSpot because I know GameSpot is also employed by former PlayStation employees.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just throw that out there. So it's a little bittersweet.
No.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so PlayStation cutting 900 jobs and canceling games affecting Spider-Man, Last
Canceling
of Us,
games
and
too.
Horizon developers.
Canceling.
Insomniac, Gorilla, Naughty Dog, Fire Sprite, and other teams are facing layoffs.
I want
So
the same outroar when my Xbox
please,
cancel out the games. Give the
yes.
same outroars to Sony. Excuse me.
This is the other thing. This is the other thing that we're talking about. This it's not the same energy. Granted,
No.
Twitter is Twitter, but even still, the people who write these articles are on Twitter, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not sharing that same energy.
No.
Sony's PlayStation division is cutting jobs in the latest round of high-profile layoffs in the video game industry. By some estimations, 2024 has already seen more than 1,700 video game industry layoffs. Reporter Jason Schreier of Bloomberg was first to reveal the cuts, which has subsequently been confirmed by Sony in a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Sony thought they could win some PR brownie points by getting ahead of this thing and talk about, you know, how this was a tragically hard decision to make. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the same corporate PR nonsense that you would expect from anyone.
From
Sony
anybody.
thought,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we can earn some reputational points by getting ahead of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, you will not.
Mm-mm. Still the
Related to
same
these
burn.
moves,
A burn is
still
a
the same
burn.
burn. Related to these moves, PlayStation is proposing to close its London game studio, which was most recently responsible for developing PlayStation VR games. Cuts are also come into Sony's other studios, including Firesprite, Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, and Gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation's technology, creative, and support teams are also affected by these measures. I want to take a quick break to note that 5 days before they shut down PlayStation Studios London, Jim Ryan was there, and they held a farewell party essentially for
Five
Jim
days.
Ryan.
5 days
5 days.
before they got rid of, pretty much laid off most of the studio.
Yep,
That's criminal.
they closed the whole studio. Well, actually,
That's
they're. I'm sorry. They're proposing to close it. They haven't closed it yet.
yeah. I
They're
don't think they
proposing it.
closed it. I think they just got rid of most of them, but no, they
Also,
closed London studios, the Lonely Sony studios, whatever they call it. That studio is
mhm,
completely closed. I think those are the team that did their VR games and stuff. Help with that, but
also, I want to take a moment to note. Look at who wrote the blog post. He's on his way out. By the way, with a golden parachute. He's on his way out with a golden
oh
parachute.
my god, I didn't even know that. This
They didn't
cat.
get they didn't get Herman Holst to write this. No, they got Jim Ryan to write this. He's on his way out with a
Ew.
golden parachute, and
PlayStation community
he just
means
laid off
everything
900
to
people.
us. As he closed his laptop monitor screen and be like, yeah, so what's for dinner? It's
Yeah, pretty much. Like he's good.
what?
He's good. These 900 employees that got laid off, they're not good. Jim Ryan is good though. So
Hmm.
this is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. If they this is why I hate corporations a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
They could have cut a bit out of his golden parachute and
To
put
give
it
it to
back.
them. To give it to that
Mm-hmm.
900 people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, because I'm sure he's getting millions or whatever. If
Easily.
some of those millions can cover, because what, 900 of those people have, maybe most of them probably make over 100K a year. You could have gave that to those 900 people that just got laid off. That cover your year's salary or whatever. Like, come on, bro. Come on.
It's bad. It's bad. So I don't want to hear about the tragically hard decision that we had to make, the extremely hard decision. I don't want to hear about that. Knowing
Mm-hmm.
that Jim Ryan was the one who made the announcement, and two, he's on his way out. I think in a few more months. No,
I
next
think
month.
it's
I
like,
think he's
nah,
out
yeah,
next month.
April or some shit, yeah. Hi, 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 hi.
Oh no, I'm not, oh no. GameSpot already reported on it in the article. He's leaving this month.
Jesus Christ.
He's leaving this month. He's good. Okay,
He's
don't
great.
shed any tears for Jim Ryan because he's good.
What a,
Unfreaking believable.
what a jackass.
So, like I said, I want this layoff nonsense to be over and done with. I want to get back to seeing great games coming out. But these layoffs are going to make it that much harder for us to be able to see a lot of those games. I mean, just with these layoffs,
Mm-hmm.
they have already had to cancel games.
Yeah.
They didn't say which games were canceled. some of the stuff probably wasn't even announced yet.
I'm still mad about that Twisted Metal.
Oh
Still
yeah,
upset about that.
there was a Twisted Metal
Hmm.
project that got canceled. That's
Yeah, I'm
right.
mad about that one.
I haven't played Twisted Metal since the original PlayStation. I would
Yeah,
have loved to have a reason to get back into that, but
that's
no,
messed up.
that's gone.
I was gone. You killed it. Thanks.
But I've never seen this color before.
And it sounds like it's the same old story across a lot of the different companies within the industry. It's like they hired a lot because there was a very high demand for games during the pandemic.
Hmm.
Now everything seems to be slowing down. They realize that they have more people on board than what their overhead could allow for. So they just started like just cutting people,
Hmm.
which awful, awful. Why? I mean, and we saw the same thing with that division Blizzard, right?
No,
Because
yeah.
they went on a massive hiring spree in the middle of the process
Yeah,
of
all
trying to be
yeah,
acquired by
during
Microsoft.
COVID and
Yeah,
stuff,
during
and
COVID and during the FTC stuff,
adding
they were still hiring people.
thousands of different people, and then right
It
after
was like
everything's situated,
yeah, I think it was like a 2,000. I think it was like a 2,000 headcount increase. Which why? Why? You know that you're in the process of being acquired. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure Bobby Kotick had an understanding of,
mm-hmm,
hey, we're probably going to end up winning this case. There's a pretty high chance of us winning this case.
mm-hmm,
We should do a hiring freeze so that we don't have to lay
right,
people off.
yeah,
And yet here we are.
right,
Terrible, terrible. So again, being fair, yeah, Activision Blizzard, that was a stupid move. I don't care
mm-hmm,
if they are under the Xbox umbrella. That was a dumb move,
mm-hmm.
and it cost people their livelihoods. Not cool.
You gotta eat, man. You gotta have a roof over your head. Now these people gotta sit here and
Gotta-
claim unemployment or whatever. Hopefully they
Look at
get it.
they gotta look for a
Look
job
for
in an already
jobs
congested job market.
because every other company is firing and laying off. So
Mhm.
how am I gonna?
Yeah. Imagine that free agent pool. Look how congested that free agent pool is because of all these freaking layoffs. Awful, man. Awful.
Boy.
So moving right along, we got news from some would say the goat, some would say a pariah, Neil Druckmann.
Mm.
Neil Druckmann, the director of the Last of Us series, he uh
Yay.
he says he doesn't have too many more big games in him. Says his job has become so much more stressful since the release of Uncharted 2. Oh, woe was Neil Druckmann, the man who literally shaped the entire PlayStation library on the PS3. The man who single-handedly changed Sony's philosophy on which type of games they would greenlight.
Yeah.
Remember the
Hmm.
days when Sony was known for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and
Different
little
games.
platformers like Croc,
Yeah.
Jumping Flash, Parappa the Rapper,
Hmm. Great
all these
games. All great games. Different
weird but
varieties.
cool games.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Fun.
And then Uncharted 2 happened.
They forgot about fun.
They forgot about fun. Now it's like, oh, this is a winner. Let's do
Hmm.
that with all of our games.
Yeah.
God of War changed. Horizon is a game that I don't even feel as though this type of model even fits with, but they have it anyway. Like Naughty Dog made another game that wasn't Uncharted just to make it like Uncharted.
Forgot about the word
It's
fun.
it's all the same. It's all the
And
same,
yeah.
which is why I have no reason to buy a PlayStation 4 or 5 because if we're talking about, what games are going to be the games that sell the consoles,
Hmm.
they're all the same games and they're all games I have no interest in playing.
Right.
The only difference in that particular bucket is Spider-Man.
Hmm.
But then Spider-Man end up going to PC, so I really don't care.
We don't care.
Spider-Man 2 is going to end up going on
It's going
PC
on
as well, and
PC.
I'm not going to care.
I'm not gonna care.
So, I'll play Spider-Man on PC. I don't need a PlayStation.
Mm-mm. You can wait.
And we'll get to the doom and gloom about, oh my god, exclusives. We'll get to the doom and gloom about that stuff after this particular story, but I just want to highlight this because again, it's one of those things that it's a big deal,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It's a big deal because this kind of thing kind of like shaped what we now know as AAA gaming.
Hmm.
So Neil Druckmann is tired.
Tired,
He's
sleepy.
tired.
He's tired of it.
I mean, look at those eyes. Look
Look
at
at
those
him.
bags.
He
Look at
got
those
gray
gray
hair.
hairs. No,
Hmm.
I'm kidding. Neil
Nah,
Druckmann, he's doing just fine.
he's fine. He's
But
handsome. He's alright.
he's doing all right.
Yeah, he
Neil
cool.
Druckmann, the co-president of Naughty Dog. By the way, one of the other co-presidents retired after 19 years. So Neil Druckmann is now like in control of Naughty Dog.
Mm-hmm.
So the co-president of Naughty Dog and creative director of The Last of Us is tired. From the sound of it, he might be looking to change his career up so he doesn't have to deal with the stress of leading a AAA team that puts out games on a scale of Sony's flagship studio.
Mm-hmm.
In a podcast, thanks to VGC, with rapper The Last of Us Part 2 actor Logic, Druckmann said that everything Naughty Dog has done since the studio started working on Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, which launched in 2009. Think about that. It's 2024. That game launched in 2009. That was 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everything since then has been incredibly stressful.
Mm-hmm.
That game was a notable pivot point for Naughty Dog, propelling the studio into the prestige, cinematic storytelling, and action set pieces it's known for now. Well, yeah, it literally changed the entire face of gaming.
Yeah.
And then everyone who wanted to make a Game of the Year contender made a game that was like this,
Mm-hmm.
that was like Uncharted 2,
Right.
that was like The Last of Us. Like, again, he set the standard for AAA games inadvertently. I'm pretty sure this wasn't exactly what they were going for.
No, I
They
don't think
probably
it
were
was. Yeah, I
you know,
didn't.
let's blur that line between game and movie and let's deliver a really good experience. And then this is what happened as a result.
Mm. And then now they looking at everybody else should be making these type of games also.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Now we have PlayStation fanboys that are saying that, oh, Nintendo and Microsoft games, they're not serious enough.
Mhm.
You know, why can't their games be more like Uncharted? Well, why can't your games be more fun? Why
Yeah.
can't your games be more varied?
I need more than just a movie game. I'm sorry. I probably enjoy one of them, one or two maybe, but I don't want 6, 7, 8 of them. That's enough. Give me something else. What else you got? It's like eating pizza every day for 2 weeks straight. Like you want something new. You're getting tired of that. Like,
You know what? Let's dig into that real quick. Let's dig into that real quick. So back on the Super Nintendo days, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you think about the actual like first party exclusives that were on the Super Nintendo, what did you have? You had Mario, which was running and jumping, general platforming.
Mm-hmm.
You had Donkey Kong, which was a different kind of platformer. You had Metroid, was a jumping and shooting game and a completely different genre onto itself. You had F-Zero, which was a racing game.
game.
Yeah, all these. You had a lot of different things that comprised the Nintendo first party lineup. You switch it over to Sega, you had Sonic, which was a physics-based platforming game. You had Streets of Rage, which was a side-scrolling
fight. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You had Shinobi, which was a different kind of platforming game, one that was a bit focused more on action. And then you had Gunstar Heroes, which is another jumping and shooting type game.
Mm-hmm.
You have varied experiences amongst the different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
You look at PlayStation now, what do you have? You have walking simulators. You have cinematic experiences. I mean, the only outlier is Gran Turismo. But Gran Turismo went on a long hiatus before Gran Turismo 7. And even Gran Turismo 7 didn't do as good as it could have.
Mm-hmm. No, it couldn't. Give me something. Let's go back to the word fun. Let's talk about fun really quickly. I think Sony forgot the meaning of fun, and they saw how the Uncharted series and The Last of Us, how they did, and they just said, yeah, let's keep doing that because of what? Money. It made money. People are saying, oh, this is great. Let's buy PlayStations.
And I want to say it's a bit more than that too, because if there's one thing that's been noticed over time is that when it comes to like big PR things, like things that really get your games out there on the news, the Game Awards, what games constantly were nominated for Game of the Award contendees? Games like Uncharted and Last of Us. Games that had strong cinematic experiences that focused on a singular protagonist, typically a grizzled male, and the people who vote on these games, they eat that stuff up.
Right.
Let's also be very real and very honest here. You, the person sitting at home, you don't vote on the Game Awards. You don't. You make up 10% of the vote. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
very small fraction in comparison to who actually votes on the Game Awards. Who actually votes on the Game Awards are gaming outlets, things like IGN, obviously,
Mm.
GameSpot,
Yeah.
Metro UK. They're the
I'm
ones
a,
who vote on this kind of stuff,
I'm gonna
right?
leave my
Who's
vote in their hands. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Mm.
So let's also be real about one other thing. The people who vote on those games, they're about our age, if not
Mm-hmm.
older.
Mm-hmm.
And their tastes, well, they too are looking for games that blur the line between game and movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, who runs the Game Awards now? Jeff Keighley. What does Jeff Keighley want to do? He wants to blur the line between video games and Hollywood. We saw that with the last Game Awards.
Right.
So those kinds of games are going to be the games that get highlighted and spotlighted.
Right.
That's not a good thing.
No.
That's not a good thing. We've lost the meaning of fun in video games, and
Yeah,
that's a terrible thing.
that's true.
It's a terrible thing. Our games have to be serious at all times. They got to be mature. They gotta be gripping. No, let's
Remember,
take the seriousness out of the games.
remember last what was it 2 weeks ago? We was playing Tekken with all of our
Hmm.
friends. What was it, like 6, 7 of us in the group in that little party? We was all playing Tekken. Most of us probably didn't even know most of the fighting moves then because Tekken is still new. But guess what? We all had fun. We all laughed. We all joked and stuff. Yeah, some may have been getting their ass kicked more than others, but we had fun. That's the thing. Everybody's laughing, joking. We stayed up till 12 o'clock or whatever at night, still having fun. It was the weekend. Nobody's had to go to work the next day. Everybody was relaxing, having a gay old time.
Hmm.
That's gaming. That's what
It
gaming
is.
is.
It
You're having
is.
fun
And
either by yourself. You can have fun by yourself, of course, but when you have others with you, is nothing like having fun with friends or people that you met online that are actually cool and not dicks, and you probably never met them a day in your life, but you're having fun with them, and that's good. You got these people who mean well. They're playing a video game. They're not talking crap. Everybody's laughing, hee hee hee, getting ass kicked or kicking ass. We're having a gay old time. That's fun. That's what you want in a video game.
let,
You know.
let's take it all the way. Let's take it all the way back
Mm-hmm.
to, let's say, the mid '90s,
Mm-hmm.
early to mid '90s.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most popular games at that time was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the arcade, playing with people that you didn't know, you
Mm-hmm.
just had fun.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
couch sessions playing Power Stone 2 on Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
Complete fun. Like everyone's just going crazy, just doing random stuff. It was nothing but fun. And yeah, we've gone away from that. Like even and this is one of the other reasons why I'm on the Xbox ecosystem right now, because they're at least trying. Whether they
Mm-hmm.
succeed or they don't, they're at least trying to keep the fun in gaming.
Right.
I remember what was that game? Fusion Frenzy on the
Oh
original Xbox.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fun game.
Fusion Frenzy.
Very
By
fun.
the way, that game is available right now through backwards compatibility. So if you want it, you can go play
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. We definitely need to go back on that one.
It was just a fun party game. It took full advantage of the system's features of being four players in one session. It was just nothing but just random fun. You look at games like Party Animals, which blew up pretty hard once it came out. It's nothing but just random stupid fun.
Mm-hmm.
We need more of that, because the alternative, and we have to take this from multiple perspectives. One
Mm-hmm.
perspective is the gamer, the other perspective is the industry. The
Mm-hmm.
alternative to not releasing the alternative to releasing like the fun games is releasing the AAA cinematic experience that costs $300 million to make. That is not sustainable.
Nah,
It's
no,
not.
no.
You can't put that out every single year and hope that everything is going to be fine. Spider-Man 2 still hasn't broken even.
And I'm sure you can make a very fun game for
Wait,
freaking
Power World.
80% less of that.
Power World. $8 million went into making Power World.
$8.
Helldivers
And
2. I think it was $40 million went into making Helldivers
right,
2.
and a lot of
That
people are
game is
having
blowing
fun
up.
with that. Yes, and
Yeah.
Steam and PlayStation. Yes, fun. The word
Fun
of
is
the
the
day
goal.
is fun.
Make a game that people want to play, and you will be able to make money
Right,
with that game.
fun.
Make the game that is fun. and you
Hmm.
will be able to make money off of that game.
That's right.
And I'm not talking about through microtransactions. I'm not talking about through battle pass or anything like that.
Hmm.
If people find that your game is fun,
Hmm.
people will buy your game.
Yeah.
This was the fundamental difference. And I'm gonna show a bit of my hand here.
Hmm.
This was the fundamental difference between Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6. Street
Mm.
Fighter 5 was not a fun game,
Yeah.
especially not at launch. Street Fighter
Mm. Yeah, I
6
remember that.
is a feature-rich game that is very fun to play.
Hmm.
Street Fighter 6 is doing extremely well,
Hmm.
and you would think that after the bad taste in people's mouth that came from Street Fighter 5, people wouldn't have bought Street Fighter 6.
Hmm.
And yet, Street Fighter 6 was selling like hotcakes.
Booming. Right.
So, if the games are fun, you'll get the players. If the games are the same thing that you've been giving people for who knows how long,
Hmm.
you're gonna get the same customers. You're not gonna get anyone new, and your market is gonna get saturated. It's no different from a
Yeah.
music artist sticking to one genre of music and
Hmm.
not changing. All
Not
you're doing is
changing.
giving
Yeah.
things for the same core audience that you've already had. If you don't switch up your flow, you're not gonna attract
And at
anyone
that
new.
time, I'm done with it. If it's the same by the third album, second album, I'm like, all right, I'm done, brother. They all
Yeah, at that
sound the
point, you lose
same.
them.
You all talking about the same thing. I'm pretty much done.
So Sony and PlayStation needs to get back to making games from a first party
Fun.
perspective. Stop letting third party carry you. They need to get back to making games
Please.
fun from a first person perspective. Right now, they're being carried by third party hard. Final Fantasy
Hard
is
body.
carrying them. Stellar Blade is gonna do a decent amount of numbers for them.
Hopefully, if it's doing good. Yeah, if it does great. Yeah.
Hopefully, you
Hmm.
know. And again, I don't have like a whole bunch of ill will towards PlayStation.
Hmm.
I just know that right now they're not looking too hot going into
Hmm.
2024.
No, they don't have a
Between
first
all
party suit game coming out this year at all. There's
no, they have no
only
plans. Well,
none.
okay. Let's be clear. Let's be clear on the context. So what they actually said was that we have no plans for any new titles
Yeah.
in existing major
Yeah.
franchises.
Yeah.
So does that mean that one of
Going
the
in.
first party studios couldn't make a new game? No, it doesn't mean that.
Mm-mm.
But but unfortunately, with the way that these cycles tend to go, unless there's already a project that's in the works by Naughty Dog or by Insomniac that we don't already know about,
Hmm.
there's nothing in the works that's new,
Hmm.
especially at this stage. Because if we're talking about games that are going to be releasing this year, those games would have already been revealed.
Oh yeah.
So, no, they have nothing in the pipe. First party, based on what we know so far, they have nothing in the pipe that's coming first party this year. There won't be anything new until next year. So third party is going to be
Terrible.
carrying them hard,
Terrible.
and that's not a good place to be because again, you can swoop in and steal all the third party games that you want and make them exclusive, sure. But then what's going to end up happening? You're going to end up poking that bear that's Microsoft and Xbox again, and then they're
Hmm.
going to swoop in and try to take someone else.
Right.
Because you want to talk about, oh, they couldn't get any good talent, so they had to go buy good talent. Yeah, they bought talent because y'all kept sweeping up exclusives. Y'all kept taking games that were meant to be multi-platform and sweeping up for your own exclusives. So you poked that bear. You
Yeah.
made this happen.
Because even Sony bought a lot of studios.
They did,
Bought
without
talent.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what happens. Ah, boy.
So,
I
so,
mean,
so
I'm
to
hoping
put a
Stellar
cap on
Blade
this
would be
one,
great, but we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. So to put a cap on this one, Neil Druckmann is just about done with AAA games. To be fair, I'm about done with AAA games. The industry itself should be about done with AAA games.
Yeah.
Actually, the industry itself should be done with AAA games, and they should be done with these co-op live service games that just die on arrival.
Right.
Because oh my god, Suicide Squad was just not. Suicide Squad wasn't it. Gotham Knights was supposed to be a live service game. That wasn't it. And we can get into more of that a little bit later. But no, this bubble that is AAA games, it's bursting. If you don't have any double A's to back up your triple A's,
Mm.
you're gonna run out of money.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be quick because these games are too expensive to make. We're talking movie budgets that are going into games, not sustainable.
Movie budgets.
Movie
That's
budgets, man.
damn near Avengers movie. Freaking what was it? The Marvel movies. That's the budget that y'all got. Like y'all making freaking Marvel movies and stuff. Man, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
300 million.
$300 million.
You have to sell way more than 10 million copies, buddy.
And that's the problem, right? That's the reason why something like Power World and Helldivers are doing so well right now, because it didn't cost them that much money to make those games, and
Mm-mm.
they're selling like hotcakes. So they've probably already broken even on both of those projects. I mean, it's two completely
Mm.
different studios, two completely different budgets. But the important part the important part is they've made the money back, and because they've made the money back, they can either A, put more focus into
In the current
developing
game.
for those games,
Mm-hmm.
or B, they can fuel their next project.
Yep.
And that's important
Mm-hmm.
because games need money to thrive.
Pay your
Games need
developers.
money to live.
Pay for the current project. Pay for the next project.
Yep.
Move on.
Because
A cycle that can keep happening if you keep doing it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because the video game industry is no different from any other industry. It needs money to live.
Mm-hmm.
Money is the lifeblood. If
So,
a certain segment of the industry runs out of money, that segment shuts down.
mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
Now, we can have the conversation of whether or not microtransactions are evil or whether they should be in games or not. We can have that conversation, but at the same time, we have to acknowledge money is required. How you
Mm-hmm.
get that money means more than, the fact that money is required.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, money is required.
Yep. It makes the world go around. Sorry.
It is what it is.
It is what it
I
is.
think it was actually Harada, Katsuhiro Harada
Yeah, Tekken.
said
Mm-hmm.
mhm, said that we can't we can't go forward with the idea that we can't monetize the game, but then you also want continuous content,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very common thing that's been going on with games these days. It's like if people aren't seeing that new content is being dropped in their game, they get demotivated and they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to play that game anymore. Like I
Right.
remember, back in Sea of Thieves season 9, people were like, "Oh my god, we need a new season soon." And granted, that season did go on for longer than it should have,
Mm-hmm.
but they were working on stuff in the background. They weren't ready to reveal those plans. But ultimately, it boiled down to like, look, we just need something new. We just need something new.
Right.
It happened. It happened in Halo with Big Team Battle. There was like 3 maps for the longest of time. But the thing about a lot of this stuff is these developers are still working. They're still drawing a salary.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that they're drawing a salary because it's good that they're being paid for their talents. But the problem is, in order for them to keep getting paid for their talents and to keep giving you the content that you want,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be a revenue stream. If that revenue stream isn't coming in, either A, content's going to stop and it's going to dry up, or
Mm-hmm.
B, someone's getting laid off.
Yep.
So just let's try to keep that in mind as we, opine on the practices of some of these games. We can still call out bad practices without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like paying $30 for one model of a car in Gran Turismo 7 was absurd.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely absurd.
Nah, I'm good.
But there are some things that are less egregious and less nefarious.
DOA 5, what is that, like $100 for a
One
se- Mm-mm.
$100 for a 3-month season pass, and then
No.
the seasons were literally 3 months. So yeah, it would be the next season you would pay like anywhere between $90 to $100 for another set
Mm-hmm.
of costumes, and they were all recycled costumes across all the different characters that it might apply to. Like at the end of the day, you might have actually bought 2 costumes that went across all the different characters, but they had minor design tweaks from colors to different accessories,
Mm-hmm.
and they want you to pay like $20 per costume pack. Like, no, that's absurd.
Nah, I'm good.
That's not good.
As much as we love DOA, nah, hell
No,
no.
no. All right, so let's hop into the next one. Toys for Bob. If you don't know who Toys for Bob is, Toys for Bob is actually the studio that created Crash Bandicoot and Spyro.
Mm-hmm.
They were with Naughty Dog during those times, and when Naughty Dog kind of like went to Activision actually once the Crash Bandicoot license went over to Activision, Toys for Bob became the developing studio for those games.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty Dog was no longer ahead of those projects. It was Toys for Bob.
No.
So like the Crash Insane trilogy, Toys for Bob did that. Um, so they've been very integral in maintaining those franchises, but they also were integral in maintaining Call of Duty Warzone. And for a long time, that's
Mm-hmm.
all they did.
Yeah.
All they did was Call of Duty Warzone.
Get
Now,
so.
no, well, woo, you want to talk about what gets old? Let's get into this fully. Let's get into this fully because this paints a picture of something very interesting, but also something that really should be headlined here.
Mm.
So, Toys for Bob. This is taken straight from their blog post.
All right.
We're going indie. We're thrilled to announce that Toys for Bob is spinning off as an independent game development studio.
Mm.
Over the years, we've inspired love, joy, and laughter for the inner child in all gamers. We
Mm.
pioneered new IP and hardware technologies in Skylanders. We've raised the bar for best in class remasters in Spyro Reignited Trilogy. We've taken Crash Bandicoot to innovate critically acclaimed new heights. With the same enthusiasm and passion, we believe now is the time to take the studio and our future games to the next level.
All right.
This opportunity allows us to return to our roots of being a small and nimble studio. Now,
It's good for them.
it's good for them. It's really
Mm-hmm.
good for them because
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like they want to go back to what their where their passion
Go back
actually
to their
lies, and
roots.
where their passion lies was making fun games.
I mean, look at their title, Toys for Bob.
Toys for Bob. You had them working on Call of Duty
On
Warzone.
Call of Duty, yeah.
So this is a good thing, but then something that kind of that kind of make my ears perk up a little bit is why couldn't they do this while still within Microsoft
Right.
and Activision?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was going on there that made them feel as though this split was necessary?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's anything nefarious. I'm not going to assume it's anything nefarious, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very interesting that they split from Activision and Microsoft. But as you can see down here, they have no
Mm-hmm.
bad blood.
Mm-hmm.
And if the reports are true, they're also still talking about partnering with
So,
Xbox
yeah.
for future
Mm-hmm.
games.
Right.
So if this was a purely amicable split, then why did the split have to happen at all?
Exactly.
I'm happy for them regardless because I feel as though, especially now, I feel as though we're in a time where we need games like the games that Toys for Bob specialize in
Mm-hmm.
to keep the fun in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very weird timing. Is pretty much how I'll say is pretty much what I'll say about it. What you got?
Um, I don't know. I'm a little confused on that too. Why did you have to leave Microsoft and then still continue to work with Microsoft? I think pretty much working just, like you said, working on Call of Duty all these years pretty much took a drain, like drained them. And studios, there's stuff that they want to do too. They
Hmm.
have a lot of IPs and stuff that they want to do in their head, but the studio head says no, work on this. There's nothing they can do. They have to listen to
Right.
their boss or whatever, right? But there's a lot of stuff that they probably want to do. Again, your name is Toys for Bob, and I don't think they behind something so vicious and huge as Call of Duty, shooting and guns and all this other stuff. They want to make something again fun. Let's go back to the word fun again. And I think they just want to go back to doing, Spyro and stuff like that. Or what's the other game that came out? It was an Xbox exclusive with that fox. Um,
Was it Tunic?
yeah,
No.
I
Oh God.
forgot. Yeah,
Was it? I can't even I can't even think of it right now.
yeah,
Pull it up.
I
Let me check.
forgot. But it was like a Fox game or whatever. But it was, I don't think they made it, but it was somebody else made it. Like games like that. They want to make fun stuff again, but I don't know. So it's a little weird. Hopefully they do still continue on with Microsoft and make something good, but make Banjo.
Yeah, make Banjo.
Make Banjo.
Let them do that. Absolutely.
Get an IP. Say, hey, go ahead and do this. Mm.
Trying to see here. Yeah, as you go onto their website, the first thing you see, they made Madagascar.
Mm.
Oh yeah, so yeah, yeah. Crash and Spyro. That's literally the heart of the studio.
Mm. I
And
don't know.
Skylanders was a huge success, and the fact that they were able to do that.
Mm. Yeah, and that not knowing that game was gonna kill me. What was that Fox? And you know it too. Once I say the name, you can be like, oh
Was
yeah,
it
yeah,
like
yeah.
what was it, like the last case of Benedict Fox or something like that?
No, no, I'm trying to see
I,
now.
I didn't think it was that.
Dang, what was it? It is going to kill me. Let's see. What was it? Ah.
I don't know. I don't know.
But you know, some
Um,
games like that is on my Xbox. I'm gonna have to go
you got to go.
to.
You got to go sift through that
I'm gonna
large
have to.
ass
I'm gonna have
library.
to. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go through there.
But yeah. All in all, I'm happy for them. I want them to be able to do the things that make them happy as a studio. And if this is what they feel is what they need to do in order
Hmm.
for them to be happy as a studio, more power to them. I'm happy that they're able to do that because had it been a worse situation, they'd be like, no, you do what we want you to do. We're not going to sell to you.
Hmm.
We're not going to sell your rights back to you. You can just piss off.
Hmm.
That could have been the worst scenario. So I'm happy that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I don't know why they felt as though they needed to split. But hey, it is what it is. Whatever makes the studio happy, and they've already mentioned that they plan on partnering with Xbox. So from this perspective,
Super Lucky Tail.
super lucky
There
tail.
you go. That's what it was. See, I told you you know what it was. A nice old platforming Xbox One game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Games like that they
And
probably want to
funny
make nice and colorful.
and funny enough, that was done by Playful Studios,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, it is very important to still have these games. I remember when this game was actually coming out, people were, oh my god, this is like some kiddie game.
Yeah.
Look, look. Let
There's
me let
kids
me.
too that play on Xbox. Younger
It's,
kids.
it's not. It's not even just that. It's not even just that. Let's be honest with ourselves for just a hot minute here.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you right now would go back and watch Rugrats, watch Rocco,
Hot Rod
watch
Rugrats.
Cat Dog?
Hot
Hmm?
cat dog. A
Hmm?
cat
How
dog.
many how many of you still play games to let out your inner child? Letting letting out your inner child and
Mm-hmm.
embracing your inner child is very important for mental health. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't try to act like I'm just too old and I'm too grown and
Right.
mature for these kiddie games. No.
mm.
No.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at X-Men '97's coming out, and you saw the kid in me is just did a
Just like
backflip.
going crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that on Saturday mornings with my cereal only. I'm gonna relive like I did back in the old days. Nah, good. I can't wait. And it comes out this month. Woohoo! Can't
So
wait. Well, yeah, no, I get it.
what they're doing is a good thing. It's a net good thing. What they plan to do in the future is going to be a net good thing for gaming, as far as I'm concerned. So more power to them. I got nothing but well wishes for them.
Hmm.
All right, so we got through the news topics, but there's one last thing that we got to talk about, and
What's
this
that?
one is gonna hurt.
No, no, come on. I don't feel like being hurt right now. It's a great Saturday
Look,
night.
look, we got to talk about it. Ninja Gaiden has turned 20 years old.
Ah.
And we're not talking about the old Ninja Gaiden for like Nintendo. We're talking the reboot Ninja Gaiden that came out on Xbox, headed up by Tomonobu Itagaki.
Mm.
Man, oh man, this series meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember, I remember the original Ninja Gaiden had come out
Mm-hmm.
around the same time as Shinobi was getting a reboot. Well, not so much a reboot. It was getting a follow up, the first follow up in like 10 years about that point.
Mm-hmm.
And also at around the same time, Tenchu Z, oh not Tenchu Z, Tenchu 3, Wrath of Heaven was
Okay.
on its way out as well.
All right.
And Gaming Media did what Gaming Media do. They tried to pit all three games up against each other to see, oh, which one is the better ninja game?
Yeah, of course.
That whole
All
nonsense because
because
you
they're
got to
both
sell
ninjas.
indies.
Right.
Yep. All because they're all ninja games. So they
Mm.
pulled that card. Um,
It's always a competition. Not
it's
everything
always a
has to be a
competition.
damn competition.
Well, they made it a competition so that they can get people talking. Oh my God, this is so controversial. You should all send us your letters and email thing.
Let us
Like,
know down below.
ugh,
Mhm.
hate it. Either way, I played the Ninja Gaiden demo on the
Hmm.
Xbox.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember when our friend gave me the CD, I ran to
yeah,
go play that game.
yeah.
I
I
was so
remember.
excited for it.
Hmm.
So
You ran with your
yeah,
little windbreaker jacket.
yep,
Down
yep,
2 blocks. I don't think you stopped running. You just ran down that long ass hill,
man.
went down 2 blocks, still running.
I was over the moon when I got to play
me,
that game.
me and
And
Knight,
and,
we looking at each other like, we'll walk. We literally just walked there. It was just talking while you was playing the game. We're still walking, and then I think we got there like 10, 15 minutes later. You're already
I was already halfway done.
halfway done with the demo.
Now, also understand, I'm a huge Ninja fan. All right,
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
ever since Revenge of Shinobi on the
Mm-hmm.
Sega Genesis, I've been a huge fan of ninjas.
Yeah.
And then I was following this game as it was on its way out, and this game just blew me away just from the trailers and stuff that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So finally getting to play it was an absolute treat, especially since we were already Dead or Alive fans. We knew the kind of quality that went into Dead or Alive 2,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as Dead or Alive 3 by this point. And just seeing this game play the way that it was playing, it was masterful. And I got a trailer.
Oh no.
Now, unfortunately, this is the trailer from the Master Ninja Collection, but I have my thoughts on that, and I'm definitely gonna share those thoughts in a
Mm.
moment. But yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I'm not even gonna. I will get the sound.
Good times. So when Team Ninja meant something to us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Look at that, man.
That was from Ninja Gaiden 2, actually.
Ryu Hayabusa. Look at this. God. I'm not gonna lie when I tell you I want to play this again. But
I do too. I do too. But there's a major problem.
mm. Mm.
Probably gonna have to censor this for YouTube, actually.
You might have to.
What?
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Good days. Oh, I hated him. This is 3. I think that's Razor's Edge. Yeah.
I think that was actually. This is Razor's Edge,
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah. Oh, look at Jabu.
Oh, come on. I forgot Momiji was playing that
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Yeah. Then she came to DOA.
Mm-hmm.
Kasumi. Yeah.
Still no Hayate. Just saying.
Okay. All right. We ain't have to go that far. All right. It's not DOA gating. Okay.
So yeah.
It's not DOA
Uh,
gating.
so man,
Bring back Ninja Gaiden.
it
Bring
would
it
be
back.
nice.
Bring it
It
back.
would be
You could
nice.
give me a remaster or some remake, and I'll be happy or something. God damn! Until you make a new one, do the Capcom test.
Nah, they're not gonna do that because we're in a situation now where if I'm gonna be incredibly honest, the I don't think the Master Ninja Collection did as good as it should have,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why I feel as though or why I feel that way is because the God, I had to even go through these details. The Master Ninja Collection contains all the Sigma games. These are all the games that were done by the other producer at Team Ninja, not by Tomonobu Itagaki.
Mm-hmm.
So Ninja Gaiden Black, which is, in my honest opinion, the
The
best
best
game in the
ninja.
series,
Yeah.
it's not on the collection. If you want to play Ninja Gaiden Black, one, you better hope it's in the store, and I don't think it is. Two, you better hope you can get one of these.
Look at that. You're holding gold right there. That is
If
what
you can't
gold
if
looks
you
like.
can't get that if you can't get that game, you're kind of
That
SOL.
that is what gold looks like. That's what happiness looks like, right there.
So
That
let me
right
let me
there.
explain something to you. Let me explain something to you for all the folks at home. This game is not available on the collection because Team Ninja said, "Oh, we lost the
Look at
code."
the codes. You lose no damn source code.
How in the world did you lose the
You
code?
didn't lose the source code to your best game in the series. You didn't lose it.
You didn't
You
lose. You didn't
you
lose
know
it.
what
You
you
didn't lose
did? You
anything.
lost respect for Tomonobu Itagaki. So you don't want to have nothing that he made and put it on there. They didn't do a Ninja Gaiden Black Sigma,
Right.
which was
Right.
done by the other producer. So they did all the Ninja Gaiden games that was done by the other producer, not Tomonobu Itagaki.
So now
Um,
there's another thing that also needs to be taken into account here, and this might trigger some people. I'm sorry in advance, but you want to talk about game preservation?
hmm
Guess what? That copy of Ninja Gaiden in Black, that
hmm
is the preservation.
mm
Because once that disc stops working, I can't play that game anymore at all unless I find it on eBay and probably get charged out the butt
But
to have that game.
you protect that game.
I got no choice.
You protect that game.
If my Xbox ceases to work
hmm
or that game ceases to read or Xboxes in general have no CD players, we're done. That's it for Ninja Gaiden Black. Same goes for the original version of Ninja Gaiden 2 that I have
mm
right here. Okay? This game also is not on the collection. The
hmm
Sigma version is on the collection, and the
hmm
Sigma version is worse.
Let's go.
All right.
You're holding.
I even bought this one secondhand. That's a used sticker up here.
You're holding love right there.
So, and again, these games meant a lot to me.
hmm
So, you know, the fact that it's not on the Master Ninja collection, it burns. Okay, it burns me that it's not on that collection. I would have loved to have
hmm
played Ninja Gaiden Black
Oh yeah.
with like updated technology because even as I think about playing Ninja Gaiden Black, which I can do and I probably will do tonight,
hmm
even as I think about playing that game, I remember the cutscenes were terrible from a frame rate perspective. Like it was constantly skipping and choppy, terrible frames and all that stuff. So it's it's one of those things like you want to talk about game preservation.
hmm
A lot of what game preservation is, it starts with the publisher and developer of the game. If they
hmm
don't preserve the game that you want to play and then make it available to you, there
hmm
can be no preservation. It doesn't matter if you buy the game or not because if you bought the game physically, then
hmm
there's going to be one or two things that will inevitably happen. Either
Right.
A, you lose the ability to have a piece of hardware that runs the game, or B, the physical piece of equipment that you have that is the game will
hmm
degrade over time and cease to work. So if these publishers don't make these games available on whatever platform that they choose, it doesn't matter how well you
No.
preserve your games from a physical perspective,
Mm-mm.
they're not going to work anymore.
Nope.
If I had my golden cartridge of the original Legend of Zelda right here right now, I
hmm
guarantee you that game will not work. And even if it did work, I have no hardware that could play it. Not to mention, even if I did have an original Nintendo that could read the original golden cartridge, I would have no TV I can plug it into because there's no such thing as an
No, yeah,
RCA cable
RCA
anymore.
cables on there. Yeah, you have to get a older TV just to play it and enjoy it again. Yeah.
So if you want to talk about game preservation, it starts with the developers and publishers. It ends with you, but it starts with the developers and publishers. They have to make the games available. And if the shitty excuse that they give, excuse my language, if the excuse that they give is, oh, we lost the original code. I'm sorry, guys. We couldn't give you the actual version that you wanted because we lost the code.
Ain't losing no damn code.
If that's the excuse that they give you, demand better because there's no way that they lost something that was digital. It could be backed up to an external hard drive. It could be
hmm
backed up on a server. There's no way they lost that code. They chose not to use that code.
Right, and
That's what
that's
that's
just
really about.
excuse that they use. Right. Mm.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Damn.
So
What a great game.
very, what, I might stream tonight. I might actually play Ninja Gaiden Black. I'm
Sounds
thinking about
good.
doing.
Sounds good.
But man, like that series, you want to talk about difficult games?
hmm
That game was difficult to an
Didn't he
extreme. Like
say he only think only 10 people in the world can beat that game on Master Ninja?
Ninja Gaiden 2, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like 10 people that beat the game on Master Ninja.
hmm
And whew,
Yeah.
trying to do that thing like deathless.
Mm-hmm. Oh hell no.
No, the game was too hard. The bosses were difficult. The bosses learned your patterns. There was a crap ton of invulnerability frames on the bosses themselves. It was really hard
It's
to play that game.
peak gaming.
Peak gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Peak gaming. It was Dark
Cinema.
Souls before Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, Dark. Oof. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Dark Souls. Play that game on the hardest difficulty levels, then come back to us.
Anyone who said, "Oh, you play Devil May Cry? Have you ever tried playing Dark Souls?" I look at them and I say, "Have you ever tried playing Ninja Gaiden?"
Mm-hmm. Put
Most
the
of them say no. And when I say, "Hey, look, if I
play
play
that
Dark Souls, you
game.
gotta play Ninja Gaiden," they'll say, "No, I don't want to play Ninja Gaiden."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that so? Oh,
Play
okay.
that game on all the difficulty level, and then come back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know how that goes.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about not being able to make mistakes?
Newsflash: it's not going to go well.
Because the fundamental difference between Dark Souls and Ninja Gaiden is Dark Souls is way slower.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And you got these huge ass. I'm probably sure their health done doubled. They hit like Ryu,
Mm-hmm.
and you only have a certain amount of health until you keep upgrading. And then you have to upgrade the health.
Yep.
Yeah, nah, you got to
Yep.
upgrade the weapons and all the other stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
nah. They hit like
So
10 Ryus.
the game was brutal it was brutal to an extreme. And by the way, we're just talking about the default difficulty level. We're not even talking
Mm-hmm.
about like some of the harder difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ninja Gaiden Black had the challenge system that they brought in,
Oh
where you can
yeah.
take on like different isolated challenges and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
No, I'm good.
That game was something. That game was something else. Yeah. If you want to talk about like, oh, is it true like ninja type shenanigans? Well, it's more on the fantasy side, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but fantasy ninjas are cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
It's fine.
fantasy ninjas are cool. All that wall running and running on water and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
it's
and
fine.
freaking magical, like elemental magic stuff. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, man. How could you not like that?
It's fun.
My man is manifesting fire and throwing it at people. How could you not like that? He's chopping
Exactly.
you up with the wind. How could you not like that? Come on.
Yeah, it's
Got
fun.
freaking combos bouncing off the wall and stuff like that. Ninja Gaiden was a crazy game, and I loved it. Loved every second of it.
Beautiful.
That's why I still have
Masterpiece.
my copies of it.
Cinema.
That thankfully I can play because Xbox made it a point, and Phil Spencer said this. They respect your content library.
Mm-hmm.
The games that you've been building up your library,
Mm-hmm.
they respect that library, and they want to make sure they maintain that library as long as
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Yeah.
I,
I mean, it's harder with
it,
licenses and stuff with these companies and music license,
yeah,
but they did the best they could, which I can respect for them trying and doing the best that they could and putting the amount of games that they're on there because it's like what hundreds of backwards
it's a
compatible.
lot of it's a
Yeah.
lot of
So
games.
I respect that they at least tried. It's not
And
every game,
especially
but it's
no,
better than
no,
none.
no, because I can give you a situation right now. Let's say if I still had my original copy of Devil May Cry 3 for the
Mm,
PS2, even if I had a PS5 right now, I couldn't play that game.
mm,
If I still had my original copy of Crash Bandicoot, which again I loved, I couldn't play it on the PS5. It's just
terrible.
not available unless I bought some version off their store. So even if I still had the original game,
Mm,
can't play it.
terrible.
So again, when you're talking about game preservation, that's another key component. Making sure that the company that you build your library with respects your library. If they
Mm,
don't respect it, they're going to abuse you for it.
oh
And
yeah.
that's exactly what PlayStation did with their PSN store and PSN Plus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, we'll let you have some backwards compatibility. We personally don't believe that backwards compatibility should be an important thing. But if you want to play your old games, we'll give you the option. But
Gotta buy it again.
but you got to buy it again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to buy this again. This is still my original copy when it released.
Mm-hmm.
I never had to buy this game again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
You continue protecting that game.
So that's my thoughts on physical on game preservation and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we're going into a digital world. Yeah, we're getting into a lot more streaming services in play
Mm-hmm.
that, kind of like reduce the need to buy games physically.
Mm-hmm.
But what's important is that when you get a license for a game, that license is respected and carried over throughout the generations of gaming.
Right.
If you can't get that, you're not nothing's gonna get preserved. I'm sorry, nothing's gonna get preserved. I'm sorry for the people who still have Dreamcasts.
Mm-hmm.
When that Dreamcast dies, so does everything on that Dreamcast.
Oh, come on, man.
It's the actual truth. The only way you can preserve those Dreamcast games is if the people and publishers who made those games for that Dreamcast re-upload those games to current hardware that can carry over from time to time. Same goes for your Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for your Wii, your Wii and your GameCube. Nintendo still hasn't put up a GameCube emulator on their Nintendo Switch Online. So all your GameCube games, your Twilight Princess, your Super Smash Bros. Melee, none of that's available right now.
Terrible.
So all the Nintendo fans, make Nintendo aware that you still want to play those games because the ball is in their court. The ball is
Mm-hmm.
in their court. There's no reason why the GameCube games are not available.
Right.
Make them know that you want to play those games.
Mm.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
No, man. I'm pretty much good on everything. Hopefully we were here to end. I'm tired. I know EA and 505 did layoffs last week and Sony, but
Yeah,
I hope and pray that those were the last. May
yeah,
not
we
be, but
don't need it anymore.
I hope that's the end of all these layoffs. So that's enough.
Yeah,
So let's
we
hear some
definitely
good
need
news,
more.
man.
Yeah, hopefully next week is a better week.
Mm-hmm.
No more layoffs, please.
Mm-hmm.
Please, no more layoffs. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I can't stress enough how important it is to actually have a workforce to make these games, especially with how expensive they are to make and how many people are required to make these games. S-
The
It's
knowledge
incredibly
to
important to
have
actually
it with
have
these new engines,
yeah,
it's a lot.
and we got to be real. Some of the people who were laid off were probably people who had a good amount of knowledge in the engines, people who were like
Mm-hmm.
Unreal Engine savants. They
Mm-hmm.
might have been laid off,
Right.
and that's a huge knowledge piece to lose. So I'm hoping we're at the end of it.
Right.
I don't want to have to talk about that again.
Let's hope. Let's hope not. All right, brother. Let's go. Let's go play some games, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my copy of Ninja Gaiden, stick it in my Series X, get my capture card, and I think I'm gonna stream that.
All right. Let's get to it. Let's go be some gamers.
Everyone else, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you
And I
next
extend the
week.
same advice to you guys. Go play some games. Be gamers. It's all good.
Be gamers. Play some games. Any game.
Any game. Literally.
Literally any game. All right, y'all.